Alright, how's it going guys? AlphaYGO back at it again, and today I have brought something a little special for you guys. And if you couldn't already tell, it is 3 of the Cyber Dragon Revolution structure deck. I really wanted to showcase the contents of these structure decks and build you guys a pure 3 structure deck only version of this product. So without further ado, let's get right into one of these. We don't have to open all of them at the moment. We just have to look at the contents of one of them. These structure decks are quite obviously old, and the thing is, it's funny because with the Rocket structure deck, we got so many different extra deck monsters that we had more than 15. But with this one, across 3, we're only gonna get 6, and as you can tell, it's gonna be Twin and Nova. And Nova, we don't even get Infinity in this. So without further ado, let's get right into it. And so we can look at our little paper mat over here. Very cool. Cyber Dragons look so cool, bro. Probably one of the most aesthetically pleasing archetypes out there. Okay, finally got it. So starting off with our first card, we have the Ultra Cyber Dragon Nova. I remember when I first saw this card, I fell in love with this card and I was like, bro, this looks so amazing. But Cyber Dragon Nova, that looks low-key, it looks beautiful. We have our Cyber Twin Dragon, nostalgic as heck. I love this card when I was growing up. We got our Cyber Dragon Core, which is integral to the strategy. Comes as a super though, which is nice. I actually thought this was a common, but who knows. We got Cyber Dragon Dre, a good old pure Cyber Dragon, which of course we're going to need 3 of. An alternative artwork second Cyber Dragon. That's actually really cool. I thought it was going to come with 2 of the same artwork, but that's actually really neat. Take in that since we have 3, we're going to have 6 Cyber Dragons by the end of this, which is really funny. We got ourselves a Zwei. I know this one just doesn't really do too much. A second Zwei. Proto Cyber Dragon. I remember when I couldn't really get my hands on an actual Cyber Dragon when I was a kid because we had no access to actually buying singles. We only ever bought product, and what are the odds of pulling a Cyber Dragon when you're a kid? So when I see cards like this when I was a kid, I was drooling over this kind of stuff too. Oh, second one. A lot of multiple cards in this one. You can tell there's a lot of difference between the old structure decks and the new structure decks. So Cyber Valley, Cyber Larva, second Cyber Larva, Cyber Phoenix, Cyber Dinosaur, Cyber Elton, and Loki, a very strong card. Armored Cybern, Satellite Cannon, Solar Windjammer, pretty cool. Jade Knight, Falchion, big ol' B. Reflect Bounder, damn, what a old school card. The Light Hex Sealed Fusion. Shining Angel, very old school. Cyber Repair Plant, probably gonna be a needed card in this deck. Evolution Burst. And here it is, guys. One of the biggest value trains in this deck is the fact that it comes with Super Poly. Granted, it's a common Super Poly, but here in Canada at the moment, as of filming this in September 2019, Super Polys go for, the common Super Polys go for about like 10 bucks Canadian or so. So this structure deck actually pays for itself a good amount. Power Bond, Limiter Removal, Megamorph, DDR, MST, not too bad considering it's still a staple. Light of Redemption, Machina Armored Unit, Cyber Network, Cybernetic Hidden Technology, 3 of a kind, Trap Stun, Dimensional Prison, Malevolent Catastrophe, Wabuku, dang, okay, Call of the Haunted, and Duel Links. Okay, so looking at that, this deck unfortunately doesn't come with a lot of cards I wish it came with, like Machine Dupe. Unlike the Legendary Dragon deck, Legendary Dragon deck actually comes with a lot of value, and it's such a solid start to the Cyber Dragon deck if you're trying to get your hands on that. So let me just crack those other 3 open. Alright, and we're just gonna have to sleeve these bad boys up now. Alright, so we're back with the deck, and it took a lot of thinking to establish what we wanted to do with just these 3 structures, but we sat down and thought about it. And I think the best way to play this deck is through an OTK style. Somewhat of a gimmicky OTK style, but nonetheless, it's still probably the best way to go about playing just with these three, and it sort of works on the Grand Maju style of play where people are running various ways to protect their monsters, but this doesn't mitigate the amount of damage that they're going to take. So going by that theory, we've developed a way where we can just bring out Cyber Twin Dragon with a lot of boosted stats, and the fact that they can attack twice, if they don't have a way to just stop the attack itself, we can just go for easy games just by swinging across. So that was the mentality we went with to create this deck. So without further ado, let's just get started. So starting off our list, we of course have triple Cyber Dragon. Cyber Dragon is, well, without a doubt, the key card to this deck, considering it's a Cyber Dragon deck. Along with that, we have Cyber Dragon Core. Cyber Dragon Core it's obviously very powerful because, as you know, in regular Cyber Dragon, this is one of like the key pieces to a lot of combos. But the thing is in this deck, it's not the most necessary. We just want to run it because it's also Cyber Dragon on the field, which is very important. Following that, we have something like Cyber Dragon Dre, which also acts as Cyber Dragon, which is very important, and it can do some cool things where we can like something special summon Cyber Dragon by itself, normal summon the Dre. Dre can make itself a level 5 basically, and then we can go into Nova. So stuff like that is viable plays. But again, we're still going for the OTK, so most likely we won't be going into Nova that much. But following that, we have Proto Cyber Dragon, another normal summon, but at the same time, it's still a Cyber Dragon. So again, our goal is to see as many potential Cyber Dragons as we can to establish our Cyber Twin Dragon. So when any of these brought out will be Cyber Dragon, and of course, the actual Cyber Dragon we run. Following that, we run just something like Cyber Phoenix. Cyber Phoenix isn't a Cyber Dragon, unfortunately, but it can still do some cool things where, for example, we can normal summon it out, use our fusion spells and whatnot to bring out a Cyber Twin Dragon. And if we reverse something like Sky Striker, they won't be able to Widow Anchor it or Impermanent because when this card is in attack position, negate any spell/trap effects that target exactly one machine type monster you control and no other cards. So something like Sky Striker cards, right? So in that regard, you know, it has some level of play, some level of usefulness. Following that, we have double Cyber Eltonin. Cyber Eltonin is really good because it's a threat that people have to answer to try to negate. It's a threat that people have to answer or else their entire monster board will be annihilated, so it's a big threat. And although it kind of banishes our resources, we try not to play in a way where we blow ourselves out. We just want to use it as a threat to either blow the opponent out or to bait out negate so we can just go for the OTK. Following that, we have the triple Solar Wind Jammer. Solar Wind Jammer is just basically another non-Cyber Dragon that's a Cyber Dragon. So basically, it's the same thing as regular Cyber Dragon where we can just special out when we have nothing on the field, which is decent only if like we wanted to per se go into Nova, but it's also kind of good because you can special Solar Wind Jammer and mix Eltonin in your hand live and without having to waste an actual Cyber Dragon in your hand. So in that regard, it's just free Eltonin like fodder plus like Nova plays. But following that, we have the Light Hex Seal Fusion. This card basically acts as another copy of Cyber Dragon to enable your Cyber Twin Dragon plays, so it just helps all around to be able to bring out our win con. Following that, we have triples, Cyber Repair Plant. Following that though, we have our actual win cons, triple Power Bond, and following that, triple Limiter Removal. This combination is what's going to allow us to OTK a lot, especially the fact because something like Limiter Removal isn't a hard once per turn. So something where we even have like a regular vanilla Cyber Dragon, if we double Limiter Removal that would be enough game if we just swing directly into our opponent. Obviously, that won't be the case. We'll probably be swinging into a monster. But we have Cyber Twin Dragon out from Power Bond would be 5,600 by itself. And then Limit removing it would be over 10k. And whether you swing into a Sky Striker monster, Sunlight Wolf, Galatea, any of the regular monsters you see on the boards out there in the format. For this card, if it gets its attack through, it will be enough for game, which is exactly what we're looking for. And following that, we have triple Evolution Burst. Evolution Burst is, in my opinion, really good in this deck because most of our monsters are considered Cyber Dragons on the field, and this acts as hard removal. And Cyber Twin Dragon should not count as a Cyber Dragon monster because it has Twin right in the middle of it. So, from my understanding, we should be able to still attack with Cyber Twin Dragon even after using Evolution Burst, which means that this just hard baits out, negates, or clears the field, allowing us for the OTK. And following that, we have something like triple MST. MST is good in regards to the fact that it's back row removal and it can bait out more back row negates. An easy example is when we're facing something like Orcus, you know the main back row that they have is something like Crescendo. So just MST Crescendo, like they're either gonna negate it or they're gonna like let it go. It doesn't really matter. But from that point on, you should have a clear road to be able to bring out your boss monster and just swing right into the Galatea and or Dingirsu, depending on what you have. And the last two cards to fill up the space is double Woboku. Woboku isn't necessarily that amazing considering we're a Go second deck, but the only purpose that we have for it is because sometimes we may not be able to fulfill our OTK as much as we'd like, so we'll have to set it and hope to buy us another turn because they won't be able to game us under this card. So we should be able to attempt to OTK once more on the following turn, but that's the ideal goal there. But it's only really there for basically stalling a turn. Following that, for the extra deck, we of course only really have double Cyber Twin Dragon, the win con of the deck, and this triple Cyber Dragon Nova, which came with the structure deck. Cyber Dragon Nova is still pretty good because we can make some plays with the Solar Windjammer, Dre, and just vanilla Cyber Dragon. And of course, if somehow this card gets messed with, it floats into a fusion, which basically is our Cyber Twin Dragon. So we're basically playing Cyber Twin Dragon Turbo non-stop, even with the Novas, so that's pretty good in itself. And as you guys may have noticed, we did not include the triple Super Poly into our main deck, only because we don't really have any Super Poly targets that came with the structure deck. Using this as a regular polymerization just to get out Cyber Twin Dragon isn't the most ideal situation, really. So I'd say you can definitely play these into the deck, take out stuff like Woboku and all that stuff. And if you get your hands on other Super Poly targets, there's many of them and they're all very affordable. But I just wanted to showcase the deck with just the 3 structure decks, which didn't come with many options for Super Poly. With that said, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate all you guys who stay tuned for videos like this, where it's not necessarily the most meta competitive versions of decks, but it's a fun way that people can kind of like get into the game with just only buying 3 structures and whatnot. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys later.